Good morning. Good morning. Come on in. Good morning. As you guys are coming in the Zoom, make sure you can use your chat to interact with one another. Good morning to you guys. Please remember, as always, use your Q&A section. You should all see the Q&A button down there if you have questions, so that I will see your questions. But otherwise, feel free to interact in the chat as we go along. The time now is 10 o'clock, so we're going to get ready to cast. I'm going to jump over to Facebook to cast, but just so that you guys are aware, as I state every week, you guys are the only ones that have the ability to ask questions and receive your answers on demand, so make sure you keep that in mind as a benefit for being with me on our Zoom. All right. So I'm going to jump over to Facebook, and then we are going to get started. While I'm doing that, get your water, make sure you have your note-taking devices ready, and let's get ready to go. Listen, you can also call a family member, a friend, somebody that you know could benefit from this, and let them log in as well. All right. Good morning, everyone. We are live. Come on in. If you are watching me on Facebook Live, come on in. We are live. Make sure you share the broadcast, share with your family, with your friends. Welcome to another Saturday morning Mental Health Moments with R.T. Mayberry Jr. I am your host, and I am excited to spend these Saturday mornings with you guys. For those of you who have been with me for the last couple of weeks, we have dived into some amazing topics. And today I believe is going to be another reflective topic, something that you'll be able to take and use and look at in your personal time. So I am excited to share with you. Listen, make sure you leave your comments, provide feedback, share this broadcast with your family and friends, because sharing is caring. Listen, today we're diving into a very important topic. Last week we discussed boundaries and the importance of setting boundaries. The week prior to that, we talked about dealing with toxic relationships and environments. And then our first Saturday together, we talked about as a man thinketh. So dealing with the relationship between our thoughts, our feelings, and our desires. And so that has led us to where we are today with our discussion on loving me, handling low self-esteem. And so a lot of what we have been talking about, you'll recognize directly connects to our week one teaching, which is how you think. Thinking well, handling yourself well, managing your moments well, handling your emotions well. So a lot of what we talked about, that is the foundational teaching for where we are headed now. So I'm excited to dive right in. Listen, if you missed those previous sessions, if you go to RaleighMayberry.com and you register for Mental Health Moments, you'll receive the playback from all of those sessions. I'll make sure you get those this week so that you can watch them. I'm also putting something together for everyone who will be a part of my mailing list to receive some notes from these sessions so that you can continue to benefit from them. All right, so I'm not going to hold you all Saturday. This session is actually probably going to be one of our quickest and most straight through sessions. All right, I'll make sure you get the notes, Mario. I see you in here. All right, so loving me, handling low self-esteem. Now, when we think about low self-esteem, we always, I think our automatic thought is kind of one-sided. But I'm going to talk about a couple of different things as it pertains to recognizing low self-esteem and that lacking of confidence in yourself so that you can measure and see where it applies to you. All right, so defining low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is characterized by a lack of confidence and feeling bad about oneself. People with low self-esteem often feel unlovable, awkward, and incompetent. All right, so low self-esteem tends to manifest in different ways. All right, there's oftentimes when you're dealing with low self-esteem, there's this great war between believing in myself and reaching my full potential. So there's this war between believing in myself and reaching my full potential. So I can't believe that I can be this great and do this. And so there are things about my potential that I may never see if I don't step outside of this place of disbelief in what I have in me. It's a battle between what I've been told about myself and what I've decided to believe. So our mental health, from the aspect of mental and emotional health and self-esteem, a lot of us have been greatly affected in our esteem simply by what we've been told about ourselves, what we've been made to believe about ourselves. And if you are told something so many times, if you told something enough times about yourself, you're going to start believing it. And so it is this battle between what I've been told about myself and what I've decided to believe. So as we're growing up, our parents and others around us, other voices of authority, other people around us, other situations around us use their words and their actions to help shape our belief systems when it came to believing in ourselves and the development of our identity. So as we were growing up, as we were being raised up, there were things that were said, that were done, that were actions that helped shape our identity, helped shape what we believe about ourselves and our abilities, helped shape how we feel about ourselves, how those insecurities may manifest or show itself in us. A lot of that stems from what we were told and what we've decided to believe. So I do believe our upbringing has had a great effect on how we see ourselves today. If I was made to feel inferior, like my voice didn't matter, that may cause me today to shy away from sharing my thoughts and opinions. It may cause me to shy away when it comes to expressing myself. If I was always shut down, or, my parents or nobody ever listened to me, or, I heard people say, when I was a child, I was told kids are to be seen and not heard. So I was constantly muted and muzzled. That's going to cause you to go inside. And so I want to talk about some ways that your childhood experiences may have led to low self-esteem. So there are a couple of things, a couple of points that we can look at when you go back and examine how low self-esteem and that lack of confidence may be manifesting in you today, where you go back and trace the root of it and just kind of see where the development of this problem started. And so here's some childhood experiences that may have led to low self-esteem. The first one is being harshly criticized. Being harshly criticized. So there's a difference in constructive criticism. I'm telling you this to help make you better. I want to build you up and not tear you down, but I was harshly criticized. Every time I made a mistake, I was made to feel like the world was coming to an end. So were you harshly criticized? The next one is being physically, sexually, or emotionally abused. These are things that make you feel like I don't have value. I don't have a voice. My body does not matter. My mind and my emotions don't matter. And so, people, it makes it easy for people to take advantage of me because I don't feel like I have the strength or the courage or the confidence to stand up for myself. So were you physically, sexually, or emotionally abused? Am I always paranoid, always afraid? Do I always feel like somebody is going to attack me? The next one is being ignored, ridiculed, or teased. Were you ignored a lot? Were you told to be quiet a lot? Were you told, to shut up a lot? Were you, just kind of put away, out of sight, out of mind? Were you talked about a lot? Did you experience the pain of being teased and ridiculed? Maybe not at home, but at school or in other environments. Were you known as the outcast? Those are things that if you be careful and look at it today, it's going to help you understand why you are the way you are today, why you respond the way that you respond today, and why you feel the way that you feel today. The next one is being expected to be perfect all the time. The expectation that you're going to be or need to be perfect all the time. People with low self-esteem were often given messages from parents, teachers, peers, or others that failed experiences were failures of your whole being, of your whole self. So if I got an F on a test, I'm a failure, I'm stupid, this is not worth it, I am no good. Were you made to feel like if you messed up in any way, like I didn't do my chores, right, I ain't washed them dishes right, where you made to feel like it is the end of the world and there is no grace. So you slide into that perfectionism where if it's not perfect, it's not good enough. So you have zero grace for yourself and you don't know how to place value even on your effort. That's important. You don't know how to place value even on your effort. There are times when we need to sit down and we need to talk about, certain failures and certain things that, were just negligent and you need to change. But then there's certain moments where you have to acknowledge your effort. I took a risk and I stepped out and I did it. And it may not have turned out the way that I expected it to turn out. Maybe I didn't get the reach, or maybe I didn't get the response, or maybe I didn't get the sales, or, whatever that I desired to get, or that may be deemed successful for you. But I am going to take a moment and acknowledge my effort, because I stepped out and I made an effort to do something different, or I stepped out and I made an effort to do something for myself. And so those are some things that even affects your courage to step out and make an effort. So my pause right there is to encourage you to applaud your effort. If you stepped out and did something this week that maybe you were afraid to step out and do weeks prior, take a moment today and applaud your own effort. Celebrate your effort. The fact that you stepped out, you did it, you conquered that fear, you overcame it, and now you're going to see what the next day is going to hold. All right. So those were some things that if you can point to, or you want to get to the root of where that low self-esteem started manifesting, those are some things that you want to look at. Being harshly criticized, being physically, sexually, or emotionally abused, being ignored, ridiculed, or teased, being expected to be perfect all the time. All right. As adults, we can acknowledge that our parents and other voices of authority and experiences have caused some damage in our self-view today. However, after we make that acknowledgement, we have to take responsibility. We can acknowledge that these childhood experiences, the people around us, how we were raised, society played a role in shaping our view of ourselves today. But once you take a moment and make that acknowledgement, you can't sit at the point of acknowledgement and continue to blame yourself or blame, your parents and other people who played a role in the shaping of your identity and your self-esteem. You have to move into the place of taking responsibility. So now that I've acknowledged that this is where it started, I was abused. This is where I lost my voice. This is where I lost my courage. This is what was said to me or what was done to me that caused me to shy away from having confidence in myself. Now that I recognize that, because I no longer want to be affected by that, I now have to take responsibility for my own healing and deliverance. Some of us get stuck at the place of being the victim. I don't want this teaching to carry you away into victimization. I want you to acknowledge, and then I want you to take responsibility for your healing. All right. All right. So low self-esteem has to do with how you see yourself, and that can be impacted by how others view you. So low self-esteem has to do with how you see yourself, and that can be affected by your surroundings and by how other people view you. All right. People with low self-esteem are highly sensitive, and the slightest bit of criticism can cause them to be wounded. There's this ridiculous saying that we all used to say that I think most of us recognize as being ridiculous. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. This is the biggest load of crap because words can hit you in a way that sticks and stones cannot. All right, words can be weapons to either build you up or tear you down. And those of us that have experienced being hit with words and phrases and things against our identity and against ourselves and our self-worth, we can attest to the fact that words can either build you up or tear you down. And so your self-esteem takes this roller coaster ride, sometimes just based on what your environment, what others are saying and doing around you. That ties back into our teaching on toxic relationships and environments. What are you allowing yourself to be exposed to that's affecting your self-esteem in a negative way? Is my environment causing me to feel bad about myself? And if it is, I need to take some steps to change that. All right, so that's an important factor to consider. When you deal with low self-esteem, you are constantly being tormented by fear. You resist doing new things. You resist going new places. You resist being yourself socially because you fear making mistakes. You fear using poor judgment. You fear saying or doing something that's going to cause you to be ridiculed or flat out embarrass yourself. So when you deal with low self-esteem, you are constantly looking over your shoulder. You are constantly questioning yourself. Am I good enough to do this? Am I going to be accepted if I go in this environment? I was invited to this social gathering and I'm tired of being lonely. I'm tired of being alone. I want friends. I want community. I want connections, but I resist going and being a part of these gatherings because I'm not sure of myself. I'm questioning my wardrobe. Am I going to look good enough? Am I going to say something that's going to make me sound stupid? Am I going to feel good about myself? Are the other people going to receive me well? You don't have the courage to step out and take the risk because you're just constantly being tormented by fear. Your whole life is literally surrounded by fear and paranoia. You question everything you say, everything you do, every opportunity that comes your way, every dream you have, every thought you have. You're constantly being tormented by this fear. It's like having that constant nagging voice reminding you that you are inadequate. You're your own worst enemy. It's like having that constant voice saying to you, don't do that because you don't have what it takes. No, don't do that because you don't have the expertise. No, don't do that because you're not good enough. You don't look good enough. You don't look the part. You don't sound right. Your voice is not right. Your wardrobe is not good. All of these things that constantly, it's like having that voice on your shoulder that's constantly saying you are not enough. It's a constant reminder that you, no matter what you say, what you do, what other people say, what other people do, you are not enough, all right? So that's a dangerous and limiting place to live your life. Listen, life with its many twists and turns will provide you with many opportunities to be challenged in your self-esteem. Everywhere you turn, you stand a chance of becoming the subject of somebody else's opinions. Life is like a roller coaster ride. Everywhere you go, everything you do, everything you say is subject to the opinions of other people. So developing confidence in who you are and what you have to offer is going to help keep you from riding this wave of today I feel good about myself, but I don't like the way this person looked at me. Or I don't like the response that I got from this group of people on this thing that I tried to step out and do or say or become. And so I'm going to shy away from it. So life takes you on this roller coaster ride. And if you don't take the time to develop the confidence within yourself, to believe in yourself, to believe in who you are, to believe in what it is that you have to offer, you're going to constantly be dragged through the mud. You're going to constantly be taken up on these highs. It's like being in a toxic relationship. When it's good, it's good. We're on the high, but when it's bad, it drops me all the way back down. And then it takes me back up, and then it drops me back down. That's a dangerous way to live, because you never know what it feels like to settle into the peace of just knowing that I am a son of God. I'm a daughter of God. I have greatness in me. I have many gifts and talents. I have many abilities. I have been blessed and favored with these, with my hands, and I can do things with my hands, and I have a mind that can process things in a way that will break people into freedom. You never be able to see I have a mind of creativity. I can create things from nothing. You never settle in the confidence of what you have on the inside of you, because you've allowed yourself to just ride this roller coaster of the opinions of other people. And the opinions of other people are not always accurate. Some of us, when you deal with low self-esteem, you take the opinions of other people, especially those who are close to you, as Bible. This is right. It is infallible. It cannot be challenged. If you said it, then that must be the way that I need to go. Stop riding the roller coaster of other people's opinions. If you dream this and you decide to say, I want to step out and do this, then you step out with wisdom and courage and a plan, and you do it. Don't ride the wave, because listen, the opinions of other people are always going to cater to what they want to see. The opinions of other people are always going to cater to what they feel. They're always going to cater to what they desire. So you have to take a moment to shut those voices out and develop the confidence that I have what it takes to do this and become this and to be successful at it. All right. So that's an important thing that I want you guys to talk about or think about. Now, we typically isolate this issue of how we feel about ourselves, this issue of low self-esteem, to our physical appearance. All right. Many people deal with self-esteem issues that have nothing to do with their outer appearance, but it has everything to do with the war that's going on in their minds. We typically relegate this issue to physical appearance, how I look, how I dress. Am I too big? Am I too small? Am I skinny? Am I fat? Does this work? Does this not work? And we limit it to that. But low self-esteem really is a war in the mind. You can be the most physically fit and the well-dressed person in the room, but also the most insecure. And so it manifests in many. You can be the most powerful in the room and yet still be the most insecure, because low self-esteem is really about the war inside, the war in your mind, the war in your soul. And so we don't want to get caught up in saying, well, this doesn't really apply to me. I love myself. I look in the mirror and love what I see. But you got to look a little deeper, and I want to help you with that today. All right. I have a hard time believing that I'm capable of doing or being anything great. That's a manifestation of low self-esteem. All right. Now, this issue may not be a long-term one. Maybe I've had a few bad experiences that have caused my self-esteem to take a hit. Maybe depending on what day it is or what life presents today, I feel good about myself, or maybe I feel a little down. Low self-esteem does not always manifest the same way and may not even always be a long-term issue. So today I may be feeling good. Maybe, sales are great. If I'm an entrepreneur, maybe my sales are great. Maybe things are going well today. Maybe I am, achieving. Maybe I'm employee of the month today. Maybe I'm doing everything well. It seems like life is going great for me. I'm making money. I'm saving money. I'm making moves. About to buy my house, got my new car. My family is in order. I'm feeling good about myself. And then tomorrow, bam, I'm hit with something that reminds me of how inadequate I am. So I was taken up on that high, and then life came and threw me a curveball, and I was dropped right back down in that low. Most of us have various moments throughout our time on this earth where our self-esteem is going to be challenged. So I may be having the best day ever today, and tomorrow it may drop me all the way back down. Everything seems to be going well in my life, and now I've been dipped right back down into challenging my self-worth and my self-confidence. Tomorrow, maybe something I planned didn't go well. Listen, Maybe something that, maybe a goal that I set, I didn't reach. Maybe a plan that I had, I didn't fully execute. Maybe I tried to launch something or do something and it didn't go as well as I planned. Now I'm faced with the need to develop a healthy perspective concerning my self-esteem or concerning that situation. Listen, it is always important, I always talk about this, to manage your moments well. When you are taken on that high and you're feeling good about your life and things are going great for you, and then life comes and throws you this curveball, it is imperative that you don't allow yourself to be dropped all the way back down, but you take a moment and manage it well. So what was it that hit you that you need to process through? Maybe it doesn't need to cause you to look at yourself like a failure, but whatever the moment was, take a minute and look at what it is that you are really dealing with. Some of us take real hits in our self-esteem because we don't know how to manage a moment of failure. We don't know how to manage a moment where we didn't get it right. We don't know how to stop and just take a deep breath and manage a moment when we didn't quite reach that goal that we set. So now let's go back to the drawing board. Let's recalibrate and let's make a new plan. Some of us just sink deep down into that feeling of, I made a mistake and now I am a failure. I knew I shouldn't have did this because I knew it wasn't going to turn out right. I knew I did. You drop yourself all the way back down to the extreme, but you have to be careful and manage that moment well. Take a moment and get some fresh perspective concerning what it is you are dealing with. You are not the failure. You just got to take a moment and develop a new plan. Maybe you went down the wrong road. I'm going to go down this road. Maybe this was a bad deal. Let me learn from the mistake that I made so that I don't make it again in the future. Give yourself some grace so that you are able to continue to move forward in strength. All right, so you got to manage those moments well. When life is going good, you're enjoying joy, you're enjoying success, you are enjoying peace. Don't allow yourself to be dropped back down because of one moment. Manage that moment well. See it for what it really is, and then handle it how you need to handle it so that you can protect and guard your peace. All right? Our inability to develop healthy perspective in moments of discouragement will have profound effects on our self-esteem, our self-worth, and our self-value. If I process a failure by attaching that moment of failure to my identity, I'm stupid, I'm no good, I'm messed up because I'm inadequate. If we take that and we take that moment and attach it to our identity and we attach it to ourselves, then it's going to cause us to develop an issue with real low self-esteem. And so you got to be real careful with how you handle those moments. You have to take your time and develop healthy perspective. Process your moments well. The better perspective is, I had a moment of failure and what I planned didn't go as well as I would like it to go. I'm now faced with the need to go back to the drawing board and see what I can do differently because I now have what it takes within me and the resources at my disposal to get this thing done and get it done well. So the healthy perspective is, let me look at this for what it is and let me look at what I need to do to go back to the drawing board and get it done well. All right. So your self-esteem has a great deal to do with how you handle yourself. All right, your self-esteem has a great deal, though it can be affected by your surroundings, your environment, the people around you. It can be affected by the things that people say about you, the opinions of others. Your self-esteem has a great deal to do with how you handle yourself. All right, so here's some consequences of low self-esteem. All right, stick with me. We got a few more things, and then I'm going to give you some steps to overcoming low self-esteem. All right. But here's some consequences to low self-esteem. The first one is it creates anxiety, stress, loneliness, and the increased likelihood of depression. These are some consequences to low self-esteem. So I am always anxious. I never settle into a place of peace. I'm always stressed. I'm never comfortable. I never feel confident. Nothing is ever good enough. Nothing that I do, nothing that I say is ever good enough. It never lives up to the standards that I have set. I'm lonely. I'm struggling with loneliness because I'm not comfortable being around other people. I'm awkward when it comes to being around other people because I'm unsure of myself. I don't know how to be myself around other people, so I have to just stay by myself. So it creates this feeling, this sense of loneliness, and it takes you into this mode of depression where you are just feeling completely down and out and hopeless about life. All right. The next thing it does is it causes problems with friendships and romantic relationships. You are constantly questioning yourself. You are constantly questioning the other person's love and loyalty for you. This is a dangerous thing because you're going to wear your friends, your spouse, you're going to wear these people out because you are so insecure about yourself and what you have to offer. You are always questioning. You ain't got trust issues. You have an insecurity issue. You are always questioning whether or not this person is really for me. This person really loves me. This person really cares for me. Do you really love me? Do you really love me for me? Do you really want to walk with me for me? Well, what is it about me that you love so much? No, I don't. You don't have trust issues. You have an issue with insecurity. You don't believe in yourself, and now you're projecting that on the other person. You're projecting that on the other people, and you're turning that around on them. So you're going to damage good friendships and good connections because of your own lack of self-worth. All right. The next thing it does is it seriously impairs your academic and your job performance. You lose I don't believe in myself, right? So I'm going to go into this, this program, and I'm already going to have it made up in my mind that I'm not going to do well. Because I don't have it within me. I'm not smart enough to complete this. I shared this with you guys when I talked about my journey to going back to school to finish my degree in psychology. After 15 years of being out of school, I had convinced myself that I just could not do it. I don't have what it takes. I'm not smart enough. I used to be an honor student, but I think part of my brain died. I ain't got it no more. I can't write these papers. I can't study. I can't read. I just convinced myself that I could not do it. And it took for me to just take the step to develop some courage, to challenge that area of low self-esteem in me. It took for me to take the step and do it to show myself, yes, you still have the ability. But when you settle in low self-esteem, it greatly impacts your performance on your job. And if you are in school, on your job, you won't be able to go above and beyond and develop creative strategies to take your area or what you've been assigned to do to the next level, to be innovative, to be a strategist, to really develop vision and to develop strategies to improve your overall area that's going to affect the entire corporation or organization. But I don't have that in me because I don't believe in myself. I don't believe that I have what it takes to do that and to get that done. So it's going to seriously impair you in that area. And the last thing is going to lead to increased vulnerability and even drug and alcohol use. You got to find something to turn to. I don't have friends. I don't have family. I don't believe in myself. I don't love myself. I'm feeling depressed. I have to find something to pull me up out of this place. And so I'm going to turn to something that can just silence the noise for a moment. That's how we develop addictions. People who have issues with addiction, somewhere in there, there's an issue with insecurity. You don't believe in yourself that you can find a better way. You don't believe in yourself that you can do something differently to pull yourself up out of this pit. You don't believe in yourself that you can develop friendships and relationships and connections where you won't need to turn to this drug and alcohol abuse. But again, you don't believe that your friends are really your friends because of that paranoia. So that insecurity starts running and ruining your life. All right, so it's going to cause you to turn to something to ease the pain. All right, low self-esteem is not always easy to recognize. Through my own experience and during my own studies, I've studied this, I've looked at this because it's something that manifested greatly in my own life. And it is something that I have fought and am fighting in my own life. So during my own experience and my own studies, I have learned that low self-esteem can oftentimes take on a couple of different faces. Low self-esteem manifests in different ways. Here's the first one. Low self-esteem may manifest as the imposter. I act happy, I act successful, I act like I've got everything going for me, but I'm really terrified of failure. I'm really living in fear. I'm living in the constant fear that I'm going to be found out. I need continuous success to maintain the mask for my positive self-esteem. I need to continue to live the high life or look like I'm living the high life so nobody will see what's really going on behind. This is going to lead to problems with perfectionism, with procrastination, with competition, and with burnout, because you become a workaholic. I always have to do, I always have to produce, it always has to be perfect, or I can't do it. I have to do, my mindset is I have to be in a constant state of performance. So it manifests as the imposter. It keeps you in performance mode so that people can't see behind the mask. The imposter doesn't always allow you to enjoy the benefits of success. It leaves you feeling like you don't deserve it, even though you worked hard for it. So the imposter, when it comes to low self-esteem, will keep you from celebrating your success. That's why I said you need to pause and take a moment and just celebrate your try. Just celebrate the fact that you made an effort. Celebrate your effort, because the imposter will come and it won't even allow you to enjoy the benefits of success. It must not be because of my hard work. It must have been something else. Or maybe it was just sheer luck that I got this success, because surely I am not that good. Surely I am not that great. It doesn't allow you to see yourself and see the greatness in you. All right, so the next one is, so the first one is the imposter. The next one is the rebel. The rebel pretends that the opinions of others, especially people who are important or powerful, don't matter. You pretend like you are not affected by the opinions and the thoughts and the sayings of other people. You put on this mask like what they say does not matter, but deep down inside, it's hitting you in places that can't be seen. You live with this constant anger about not feeling good enough. So though I'm not going to allow you to see, because I don't want to express that level of vulnerability, deep down inside, I am living with this constant anger that I am not good enough. I constantly need to prove that others' judgments and criticisms don't hurt me. So I spend time overemphasizing and over-explaining why your opinion does not matter. If I got to do that, then somewhere deep down inside, it's hitting me, which is going to lead to problems like blaming other people excessively or breaking rules or laws of opposing authority. So it's going to lead to me not even heeding to the voices of wise counsel. So maybe the voice or the criticism is not meant to hurt me, but maybe it's meant to help redirect me. But I'm not going to hear it, because I got to work hard to prove that what you say does not matter to me. So it may manifest in a rebellious way. I don't have to obey these laws. I don't have the laws, and the rules don't apply to me. It manifests in this rebellious type of way. But the most rebellious person, if you look deep down inside, somewhere in there is some rejection, some abandonment that affected their self-esteem and their self-worth. So I have to pretend like I'm the big bad wolf so you'll leave me alone. The next one is, the final one is, it manifests as the victim. All right? The victim. I act helpless. I'm unable to cope with the world, and I wait for somebody else to come and rescue me. I'm helpless. I'm hopeless. Come and pick me up. Come and carry me here. Come and take me there. I can't do it on my own. I need you to figure this out for me. You manifesting this victim mentality. You use self-pity or indifference as a shield against the fear of taking responsibility for changing your own life or for making decisions. I'm playing the victim. I'm playing like I don't know, like I don't have it within me. So if it fails or if it doesn't go right, I can remain the victim and I can place the blame on you, because I can say, well, you led me down this path, so I don't have to feel worse about myself. You look repeatedly to others for guidance, which can lead to problems such as unassertiveness. You're not assertive when it comes to having to make decisions, even decisions that's going to affect your life and your livelihood. I need somebody else to make these decisions for me, because I can't handle it and I can't make these decisions on my own. So I am constantly playing the victim. I just can't do it. I need you to do it for me. So you never get to enjoy the benefit of just stepping out in courage and doing what it is that you need to do. All right. So I've given you some ways that low self-esteem manifests. We talked about how your childhood and your upbringing has impacted your self-esteem. Now I want to give you a couple of steps to taking responsibility and overcoming low self-esteem. And one of the first steps that you have to take in order to overcome low self-esteem is taking responsibility. We've already discussed the many ways that our self-esteem is impacted. I can't allow you to simmer in that pot of blame. We've already talked about how the words and the opinions of other people have affected you. I want to pick you up and I want to set you in the pot of responsibility. I'm going to take responsibility for boosting my own self-esteem. So here's just a couple of steps. Here's just a few things that I want to give you to help build your self-esteem. Number one, challenge the voice of that inner critic. Challenge the voice of that inner critic. Sometimes we are just too hard on ourselves. We are our own worst enemy. Challenge the voice of that inner critic. When you hear that voice trying to rise up in that moment when you need to think about something differently or approach something differently, shut that voice down. Silence the voice of the inner critic. When things don't go the way that you plan, challenge the voice inside that tries to make you feel like you are a complete failure. You have to work hard to challenge your perspective in difficult moments. So you got to challenge the voice of that inner critic. When you make a mistake, when you didn't get it right, when you need to do something differently, or when you're just feeling like you just don't have the courage, challenge every excuse that that inner critic is giving you. You don't have the resources. All right, let's stop there. Let's challenge that. A lot of us simmer in this lack of confidence and simmer in this lack of movement because we don't want to do the work to challenge our own voice. Challenge even the excuses that you're making for yourself. I don't have the resources. I don't have enough money. Okay, well, let's map it out. How much money do I really need to get this done? Okay, then if I put this savings plan in place, by this time next month or in 2 months, I'll be able to launch this. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to start saving. I'm going to develop my plan. I'm going to develop my vision. I'm going to start building my team. I'm going to start doing the work. And then by the time I'm ready to launch, I'm going to have enough money saved to do what I need to do. Start doing the work to challenge those inner voices. I don't have it in me. I am not good enough. No. What do you mean you don't have it within you? I do have it in me. I am good enough. I am smart enough. I do have what it takes to get this done. These are gifts that I have, and these are talents that I have. Challenge the voice of that inner critic that's trying to make you not believe in yourself. Challenge the voice. The next one, challenge the voice that takes things to the extreme. Now, my wife will testify that I have done this often, and maybe I still do sometimes. But you got to challenge the voice that takes things to the extreme. You had one bad day on your new job, and now that inner voice is trying to convince you that maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Or maybe sales were low today. Maybe, today was just a low day for sales. And because I see that as a personal failure, I'm going to now say, well, I need to shut the business down. I may have had 10 straight days of amazing success, amazing sales, amazing productivity, and I have one low day. And I take that and say, all right, it's time to quit the job, shut the business down. I got one low grade. I'm going to quit school now because I don't have what it takes. You take things to the extreme. You disagree with me, so you must not love me anymore. I mean, you go from 0 to 100 instantly. Take a minute and just stop and say, okay, I had 10 straight days of good sales. Today was a low day. Let me look and see if I need to make an adjustment in my strategy, or if it was just a low day for sales and I need to pick it back up tomorrow or whenever I'm going back out here. But I am not going to shut the business down, and I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit school. I'm not going to quit my job. I'm not going to start questioning myself and my own value. So you have to challenge that voice that takes things to the extreme. Here's the next one, and possibly one of the most important. Forgive yourself when you feel like you've messed up. Forgive yourself when you feel like you messed up. We talk a lot about forgiving other people, but you've got to forgive yourself when you feel like you messed up. We all have moments of difficulty. We all have moments where our humanity is shown. We all have moments where things don't go as planned. Don't be so hard on yourself. Show yourself grace instead of beating yourself over the head. Figure out how you can learn from your mistakes and make improvements for the future. Sometimes it's easy to show that kindness and that empathy towards other people. I can call a friend on the phone, I can call a family member on the phone, and I can find a way to encourage you. I can find a way to say, hey, listen, don't hold your head down, keep your head up. This was just one moment, this was just one day. Let's make a new strategy and let's keep pushing you forward. I can do that all day long when it comes to other people. You have to do what it takes to display that same measure of grace and empathy when it comes to yourself. Love and forgive yourself. Show yourself grace in moments where you just did not get it right. Use that same energy that you use toward other people and apply it to you. I didn't get it right today. So let me just forgive myself. Let me show myself grace. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I've been working, 10 days straight and I haven't got much sleep. Maybe I haven't taken the time to relax. Let me just take a moment. I'm going to take the day. I give myself permission at times to just take the day. Let me just take the day. Let me relax. Let me watch a movie. Let me give me some popcorn. Let me take a deep breath. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to relax. I'm going to rest. And I'm going to do what I need to do to reset so that I can pick this thing back up stronger the next day. So that is a part of my process of forgiving myself and giving myself grace. So you have to learn to forgive yourself. The next one is recognize that you are human and mistakes will come. The thing is, we have to remind ourselves that we are human, and that fact alone should remind us that we will not get it right every time. All mistakes are not death sentences. I am human, so I am prone to mistakes. And so that alone should give me the energy that I need to give myself grace. All right? Here's another important one. And we're almost there. Here's another important one. Don't mask your emotions. Don't mask or cover up your emotions. You have the right to feel. Give yourself permission to feel. Don't try to hide it. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't try to cover it up. You have the right to feel it. It is a grave mistake to try and ignore or suppress your emotions. It's okay to feel as long as you have a healthy balance. So you can feel, I feel upset. I feel disappointed. I feel angry. Acknowledge those feelings. Acknowledge what it is that you're feeling in the moment, as long as you don't give yourself the permission to stay there. Take a moment and acknowledge it. Don't allow your feelings to cause you to judge yourself harshly or to start speaking negatively about yourself, all right? Don't allow those feelings, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling disappointed, I'm feeling like I could have done better. Okay, well then what do you need to do to make it better? But don't allow that to drag you into a place of now questioning your worth, all right? Sometimes talking through these moments with trusted voices will help you handle your situations and emotions well. So when we talk about finding that healthy balance in what you feel, sometimes just talking with some friends or family member or some other trusted voice of counsel, let me talk through what I'm feeling. Hey, I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling disappointed, or I'm feeling hurt, and this is why. This is what happened that led to me feeling this way. I need you to help bring me into some perspective. Sometimes just letting your pride go. Lowering that pride and allowing yourself to open that up to somebody else so that they can help pull you out of that space will help you gain the perspective needed to move on in a healthy manner. But don't mask those emotions. Feel them, acknowledge them, but then you need to move forward. Keep your focus on managing the moment and the situation well. All right, and finally, stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop comparing yourself to other people, even people with similar stories and journeys as yours. Stop the comparison game. We live in a constantly competitive society. Everything is a competition. At work is a competition. At church is a competition. On the playground is a competition. In the grocery store is a competition. Everything we do is a competition. If someone makes more money than me or has more influence or seemingly doing more than I am doing, I constantly or instantly feel the need to reach their status or go beyond. It becomes a competition. And while it is good to always reach for more, It's good to reach for more. If you're constantly comparing yourself based on the outside achievements of others, your self-esteem will bounce around like a basketball. If I constantly compare myself to achievements of other people, if they're doing well, then I need to do this. All right, now I've done this and they're doing something different. Now I need to do that. I'm constantly bouncing my self-worth, my confidence around, trying to reach somebody else's status or achieve what somebody else has, because my eye is on their journey and not on mine. You'll never be able to see the value in yourself and make confident strides towards your own future as long as you are stuck focused on the journey of somebody else. Listen, what looks greener on the other side is not always healthier. So you can be judging what you see on the outside and what looks like success in other people and judging yourself accordingly, but you don't know the war that they're dealing with. You don't know the wars you don't know what it took for them to get where they needed to be. So you're inciting unnecessary warfare on yourself, trying to get what looks to be better, trying to achieve what looks to be the right thing for you. And that may not be the thing that God has for you. What looks greener is not always healthier. And what's working for them may not work for you. You have got to take a moment to pull from your own superpower, pull from what God has put inside of you, pull from your own gifts, pull from your own abilities, pull from your own talents. Start believing in yourself. All right? That's it. Those are some steps, some keys, some tools to help you recognize how low self-esteem may be manifesting in your life and to help you overcome it. All right? So that is important. Listen, I want you guys to meditate on this teaching. For those of you all that register via Zoom, hold fast. Don't get off. I'm going to say goodbye to our Facebook friends. Listen, Facebook, thank you guys for joining me for another Saturday morning mental health moments with RT Mayberry Jr. I have some exciting things coming for you next Saturday. We're going to hit our last topic, but we're not going to stop there. I have some exciting new things that's going to help you on your journey to better mental and emotional health. Listen, post your feedback, tag me in it. Share with your family, your friends, and some people that can benefit from this. All right. Thank you so much, Facebook, for jumping on and spending another Saturday morning with me. All right. Good morning, my Zoom family and friends. Thank you guys so much for registering and for being with me in this intimate setting. Listen, this was probably perhaps one of the most important teachings because as we talk about toxic relationships and setting boundaries, this is probably one of the things that you need to take a moment and deal with within yourself in order for you to develop the courage to set boundaries and to exit toxic relationships and environments. So I want you guys to take some time and sit with this teaching. Ask yourself questions. If you have questions for me, even after today, I want you to take a moment and I want you to ask yourself, ask me these questions and present them to yourselves. Here's one question. I'm going to answer this one question. If you have questions before we jump off, you can throw yours in there. Would therapy also help recall things I've maybe forgotten about that could have contributed to my low self-esteem or performance anxiety? Absolutely, positively. I always encourage people to seek professional help, therapy, counseling. I always encourage people to seek that time to sit with somebody to discuss your feelings, your emotions, your behaviors. If you want to just be emotionally or mentally healthy, I even encourage it if you're starting a new endeavor. Maybe I want to start a new business. Maybe I've got a new program or something that I want to release. Maybe I have something new that I want to do. Let me process with a counselor or a therapist so that I can deal with some of the things that may come up that'll stop me from being as successful as I need to be. So yes, absolutely, I encourage you to seek out some therapy and some counseling that's going to help you get to the root of where these issues started. These teachings are presented in an hour, but your process may take a good amount of time. So I don't want you guys to feel condemned or feel like you just got to get it right every single time. I don't want you guys to feel like you have to take this teaching today and feel better tomorrow. Or if I wake up by Monday morning, I should be cured, or I should be better, or I should be perfected in this. You've been sitting with these dysfunctions for decades. And so it's going to take time for you to process these things out and process the new behavior in. So give yourself grace even in reviewing these teachings and taking your time to see how they apply to your everyday walk. What are some ways that you can recover quickly from disappointment and failure? I struggle with being extremely hard on myself. Listen, I too struggle with being hard on myself. And so there are some moments of failure or disappointment are easier to recover from than others. So I find some moments where I can, maybe something happened that hurt me or disappointed me. And I take and I sit with it for a minute and I try to process it. I literally will take a minute. If I'm at work, I'll go sit in my car, I'll go walk around the block. If I'm at home and I need to get away from the noise, I'll go sit in the driveway or take a drive around the block. But literally take a moment and examine, okay, what am I really disappointed about? Let me look at this for what it really is, and let me see if there's something differently that I need to do. Do I need to communicate something differently if it involves another person? Let me just take a moment and not attack myself. Don't allow yourself to go into attack mode and start saying, well, this happened because I'm not good enough, or I'm not worth it, or I'm not worthy. No, just take a moment and evaluate the situation for what it is. In the more difficult moments, when it's something that I can't get to lift off of me, because I will spend time in prayer, I will spend time in worship, and I will just have that quiet time where I just allow my thoughts and my emotions to get regulated, because I don't want to allow my emotions to guide me or to control me. So just take a moment. In the more difficult moments when I feel like I can't process this, I talk with a trusted voice about it. I mean, one of my trusted voices is my wife. It may take me a minute. I may have to, think through it for the day. And then at some point in the day, I'm going to talk through it with her. And because I know that she loves me and she has my best interest at heart, I'm going to listen to what it is that she has to say. And oftentimes I feel better almost instantly. I may not let her know that it made me feel better instantly, because it's an issue of pride that I had dealt with. But most times, I feel better instantly. I instantly feel it lift off of me because I just processed it with one of my trusted voices. And I have other friends that I can process things through with. So those are some things that you can do. I'm very hard on myself, but I'm working hard not to abuse or punish myself for a mistake. That's something that you got to keep in mind. Great question. All right. How do you determine if something you failed at multiple times is something you should keep trying, or this just isn't for you? Listen, if you keep failing at something, maybe a new endeavor or something that you're trying to start out doing, and you continue to fail, you need to examine where the failure is. So maybe there's a failure in the strategy. Maybe you moved too quickly. Maybe it's just not the right timing. Maybe it's just not good quality. If it's a product that you have and maybe you're selling t-shirts and you sold these t-shirts and maybe the quality is not good. Word of mouth is a powerful make or break for any business, particularly small businesses. And so maybe the quality wasn't good. So maybe I need to go back and readjust the quality of my product. Maybe I need to look at the timing. Is this good timing? Maybe I need to look at my plan. Do I need to re-strategize? And if I can't find any, with talking it through with a business partner or somebody else that can have an objective point of view, if we can't see anything that can help change it or make it better or foresee success in the future, then I may need to reconsider if it is something that is for me to do. So I'm not going to launch a personal attack. I'm going to go back and lay my entire plan out on the table. Sometimes we are guided by our zeal. So things don't go as planned, and that happens consistently because we were led by our zeal and not taking that zeal and then making a plan. So put the zeal, the excitement, all of that in its place. Keep that, but make a plan. We don't plan properly. We don't look at statistics. We don't see what the people need. We don't see if this is something that's even worth launching. So we fail to plan. So I would say before you give up on it, re-examine your plan, unfold everything, and see if there is something that you can do to readjust. And if you've already done that multiple times, then you may want to consider if it's just time to move on to something else. I was talking to somebody else about that, where something was working for them for years and they were seeing good success with it, good momentum with it. And the last time they did it, it didn't do as well as they expected it to do. So instead of seeing yourself as a failure in it, you need to say, okay, I had this success with it. Now I need to re-strategize because this is not what it is anymore. So maybe there's something else in me that I need to pull out and I need to try. All right, so I hope that helps. Do you think addiction causes people to have low self-esteem or stuck in a place where they can't move forward? I think addiction plays a great role in low self-esteem. Here's the thing. I think insecurity and low self-esteem will push people to addiction. I think feeling badly about yourself and needing to find something quick to self-medicate and to medicate from the pain, I think it will push you into a place of addiction. On the other side of it, I do believe that when you come to a point where you're trying to build your confidence and now you've established this relationship with this addiction that you can't seem to let go of, I do believe that it can now push you back into that cycle of low self-esteem and I just don't have what it takes to let this go. So now, because you developed this, now you have this issue with low self-esteem, you've developed this relationship with this addiction. Now you want to pull yourself out of low self-esteem and you want to deal with the root of whatever it was that pushed you into the addiction. Now you're going to have to do the work to deal with the low self-esteem that's going to give you the energy to deal with killing the addiction. So it's going to be a war on both ends and it's going to take effort on both ends. But you just take your time and you deal with it. So yeah, I do believe one plays on the other, but don't get discouraged. If you feel like you're making steps toward feeling better about yourself, who you are, you're developing courage, but this addiction is still showing itself, don't beat yourself up about the manifestation. That's one of the greatest mistakes we make even in deliverance ministry. We attack the manifestation versus taking time to deal with the root. Because we understand the manifestation is going to stay for a little bit. But if I can deal with the root, then I can deal with the manifestation. So we end up trying to deal with behavior before we deal with thoughts and feelings. And you can't do that. You got to deal with your thoughts, your emotions, and then deal with your behavior. All right? So yeah, absolutely. One will play on the other, but don't feel bad about it. It's just going to take time to divorce that thing. Great questions this morning. All right, any more questions? Anything else? Before I let you guys go and enjoy your Saturday, this has been good. I'm looking forward to continuing this with you. For those of you all that came in late, you know that I'll get the replay out to you so that you'll be able to go back and watch it. It takes a little time for it to upload, but once it's done, I will make sure that you guys get the replay so that you can go back, review it, take some more notes. If you need to sit with it for a little bit, replay different parts, then do that. But all right, if no more questions, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for another Saturday. Listen, next Saturday is my last topic for the month of May. Next Saturday is my last Saturday morning session for the month of May, but I'm not going to leave you guys. I have some more things in store. I have some other things that I am working on, so you guys will continue to hear from me in this area, and we will be sliding into the area of deliverance. All right, I want to deal with your mental and emotional health so that you will be ready for me when I come for those demonic manifestations in your life. All right. All right. Somebody asked another question. Do you have a list of counseling resources I can reach out to? Well, if you are in Chicago, Cornerstone Christian Counseling Center, they are absolutely amazing. It's a Christian counseling firm that a lot of churches work with. So yeah, absolutely. Reach out to Cornerstone Christian Counseling Center and they will serve you. There are also some other online where you can get counseling online as well. And for those of you all that are members of All Nations, we do have counseling as well. And I do offer personal discipleship and all of that. And that information will be up on my website soon. So if you need somebody else to walk with, you will have that as a resource. All right, so great question. All right, awesome. I will talk to you guys on next week. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything, feel free to email them to me. I love hearing from you guys. Until next time, enjoy your good